The story begins on a quiet Thursday morning, in a house that looked calm from the outside but carried a storm inside. Emma Carter, a woman known for her steady voice and unshakable patience, stood at the kitchen counter stirring her coffee as if nothing unusual weighed on her heart. She had learned a long time ago that the loudest people rarely win battles. Real power lived in silence, waiting, watching, making notes, planning moves. Her husband, Blake Carter, a polished, confident businessman with the arrogance of someone who believed the world would never dare betray him, walked into the kitchen adjusting his tie. He didn't notice the way Emma's eyes followed him. Not with love, not with anger, but with calculation. He was running late again. He was always running late lately. "Big day tomorrow," Blake said casually, grabbing his briefcase. Their 10th anniversary. The one Emma had spent months planning. The one Blake remembered only when she reminded him. Emma smiled politely. Yes. Big day. A harmless sentence. Measured. Controlled. But behind that smile was a truth she had swallowed for weeks. Blake wasn't just busy. He wasn't just tired. He wasn't just distracted. He was cheating. And worst of all, he was cheating with her best friend, Lily Harris. Everyone loved Lily. Sweet voice. Soft laugh. Those innocent eyes that always seemed like they needed protecting. But Emma knew better. She saw through people. She always had. Lily wasn't helpless. She was manipulative. The type who cried at the right time, hugged at the right time, and stole at the right time. Emma first suspected something one simple afternoon. A text notification on Blake's phone while he was showering. It wasn't the text itself, it was the name. Lily H. Followed by a heart emoji. Emma didn't feel her world collapse. She felt it sharpen. Clearer than ever. She didn't scream. She didn't question. She didn't accuse. She simply watched. For a month, she observed patterns like an investigator building a case. Blake working late. Lily cancelling plans. Two people growing bolder, believing the woman who knew them best was also the easiest to fool. Emma played along. She laughed with Lily over brunch, helped her choose outfits, listened to her lie straight to her face. Every fake story, every twisted excuse, every giggle meant to distract, Emma tucked away like evidence. The pain was real, but the control was stronger. And then, she created her plan. 4 weeks before the anniversary party, Emma went online and ordered a device no one would ever think twice about. A tiny motion-activated camera, small enough to hide in the ribbon of a gift box. She thought about confronting them. She thought about crying in front of them. She even imagined shouting. But none of those felt right. Revenge didn't need noise. Revenge needed precision. The day before the party, she followed Blake. Silently, discreetly. She watched him enter a hotel with Lily, both wearing hats like teenagers doing something stupid. Emma didn't cry. She simply noted the time, the room number, the way Lily held his arm as if she owned him. She returned home and wrapped 2 identical gift boxes. One for Blake. One for Lily. Inside each, she placed that tiny camera, hidden in the decorative bow. The box wasn't meant to be opened. It was meant to watch. At home that night, Blake walked in smelling of hotel soap instead of his usual cedarwood. He kissed Emma on the forehead like nothing happened. That was the moment she stopped seeing him as her husband. He was now a target. The next morning, Lily arrived early with her bright smile and sugary voice. "Emma, happy anniversary. I'm so excited for tonight." Emma hugged her back, even resting her chin on Lily's shoulder as if they were still best friends. But her eyes didn't close. They stayed open, cold, calm, studying the face of a woman who laughed while stabbing her in the back. "I have a little gift for you," Emma said sweetly. The gift box with the camera inside. The same one Blake would receive later. When they both opened it, they would think it was just a decorative keepsake. But the camera had already done its job. Already captured the betrayal. Already recorded the hotel door closing behind them. By evening, Guests filled the Carter home. Friends, coworkers, neighbors. Everyone dressed beautifully. Everyone smiling. Everyone would soon witness the truth. And Emma. She stood in the center of the room holding a champagne glass, her face calm, elegant, unreadable. She looked like a woman celebrating love. But she was preparing to destroy two people. With one final twist. The sun slipped behind the trees as cars pulled up along the quiet street where the Carters lived. Warm lights glowed inside the house, music drifted through the open door, and guests arrived with wrapped gifts and cheerful smiles. To anyone watching, it looked like a beautiful anniversary celebration for a happy, successful couple. Only one person in that house knew the truth. Emma Carter stood near the dining table, arranging the last set of glasses. Her movements were calm, steady, almost graceful. No one could guess she had discovered her husband's betrayal. No one could guess she had watched the video clip earlier that afternoon. The one where Blake and Lily entered a hotel room like strangers in a crime movie. Emma kept her breathing even, her voice soft, her smile warm. She didn't want pity. She didn't want drama. She wanted precision. Her plan depended on it. Across the room, Blake walked in wearing a navy suit, confident as always, greeting guests with a charm that felt cheap now. He gave Emma a quick kiss on the cheek in front of everyone, a performance meant to show the world they were the perfect couple. But the kiss didn't land on her skin, it hit a wall of ice. Emma felt nothing. Behind him came Lily, dressed in a pale green dress that looked far too innocent for the heart she carried. She held Emma's hands with excitement, squeezing them like she wasn't the woman who had stolen Emma's husband just 24 hours before. "Happy anniversary, Em," Lily said with a cheerful laugh. "Thank you," Emma replied, her lips curving gently. She didn't pull away. She never did. They were still best friends in Lily's mind, because Emma allowed her to think that. Manipulators loved one thing, believing they were smarter than everyone else. Emma knew how to use that. More guests arrived. The living room filled with chatter, clinking glasses, and compliments about the decorations Emma had worked so hard on. She nodded along, guiding people toward the backyard where the main celebration would take place. A giant projector screen stood on the lawn, framed with fairy lights. No one questioned it. Emma had told them she prepared a thank you montage for Blake. Photos, moments, memories. Something sweet. Everyone loved that idea. Everyone except Blake, who hated surprises. But tonight he pretended to like it, because he liked looking like the perfect husband in front of an audience. Emma scanned the room. Everyone was relaxed. Everyone was happy. They had no idea they were standing on the edge of a cliff. When dinner plates were cleared and glasses refilled, Emma stepped forward with her champagne flute raised. The crowd quieted, turning toward her. "Thank you all for being here," she began softly. "Tonight is special for many reasons." Her voice was calm. But inside, her heart was a still lake hiding a storm. She continued, "Blake and I wanted to show our appreciation for everyone who's been part of our journey. So we prepared a little montage." Blake looked at her with mild surprise. "We prepared?" But he let it go, assuming she meant she. Lily clapped eagerly, acting like the supportive best friend. Her face glowed with innocent excitement. Emma's fingers tightened slightly around the remote in her hand. She pressed play. Soft music began. Pictures appeared, wedding photos, vacation clips, family reunions. Guests smiled, murmured compliments, leaned toward one another with nostalgia. Blake relaxed. He slipped an arm around Emma's waist. She didn't lean in. Lily watched with a dreamy smile, her hand resting over her heart. Then the music faded into silence. The screen went black, and a new file began to load. In the center of the yard, someone whispered, "Oh?" Another clip. Emma didn't blink. The video opened with a dimly lit hallway. A hotel hallway. Blake's face changed instantly. First confusion, then dread. Lily's smile froze. The camera, hidden in the decorative bow of the gift box Emma gave, had recorded everything from the moment they walked in. The guests leaned forward as the screen showed a timestamp from the night before. Blake and Lily entered the frame, walking too close, laughing too quietly, looking too comfortable. Someone gasped. Someone else covered their mouth. Blake's hand slipped away from Emma's waist. Lily backed up a step. The screen showed them stopping at a door marked room 418. Lily glanced around nervously before unlocking it with the card key. Blake pushed the door open. They slipped inside together. The door clicked closed. Silence fell so heavy it felt like the air itself stopped breathing. Emma remained perfectly still. No tears. No screaming. No questioning. Just truth, cold and sharp. People turned to her, waiting for her to break. But Emma didn't break. She lifted the microphone slowly, her face unreadable. "Thank you for watching," she said. "Now, let me share the real gift of the night." Blake's voice cracked. "Emma, wait." But Emma wasn't waiting anymore. She was about to finish what she started. And this was only the beginning. Gasps spread across the backyard like a shockwave. Guests stared at the screen, their hands frozen mid-air, glasses half-raised, conversations sliced apart by disbelief. The perfect anniversary celebration had turned into a silent crime scene. The projector flickered off, the screen now blank, but the damage was alive in every pair of eyes turned toward Blake and Lily. Blake's face drained of color. His confident posture collapsed, shoulders rounding as if the ground beneath him shifted. He opened his mouth to speak, but nothing came out. For a man who always had something to say, he was suddenly mute. Lily, on the other hand, reacted exactly the way manipulators do when caught. She clutched her necklace, her eyes filling with tears, mouth trembling. "Emma," she whispered, stepping forward. "Please, this is not what it looks like." Emma lifted a hand, silencing her with a gesture more powerful than shouting. "Don't," she said softly. "Don't insult me by pretending." Her voice carried across the backyard like a quiet blade, sharp, clean, impossible to ignore. Lily froze. Guests shifted uncomfortably, unsure where to look. Some stared at Emma with respect. Others looked away, unable to handle the raw truth hanging in the air. Blake finally forced words past his dry throat. "Emma, let's go inside and talk. In private." He tried to reach for her arm. Emma stepped back. Not angrily. Not dramatically. Just, firmly. "No," she replied. "You didn't betray me in private. You don't get to explain yourself in private." The words hit him harder than the video. He took another step toward her. "Please. You're misunderstanding." Emma tilted her head slightly, examining him the way someone examines a stranger they once trusted. "Did you misunderstand the room number? Or the date? Or the woman you walked in with?" Blake flinched. Lily's breathing quickened. She grabbed at Emma's hand the way she always did when trying to play innocent. Please listen to me. You know how things have been lately." Blake said he was unhappy. "He said you two were distant," he said. The crowd murmured. Blake turned on Lily. "Are you insane? Why would you say that right now?" Lily jerked her hand away dramatically. "You told me you loved me." More gasps. Emma stood in the center of all this chaos like a grounded tree in a hurricane. She didn't move. She didn't cry. She didn't raise her voice. That terrified Blake more than any scream could. He reached for her again. "Emma, I can fix this. I can fix everything. Please just let me." Emma finally smiled. It wasn't warm. It wasn't kind. It wasn't forgiving. It was the smile of someone who had already won. "Fix," she repeated. "Blake, you don't even understand what's broken." There was a pause. A thick, heavy pause that made the guests lean in without realizing it. Emma lifted her chin, her voice still calm. "You thought I didn't know. You thought I wasn't watching. But here's the truth. I don't react emotionally to betrayal. I respond strategically. Blake blinked. What are you talking about? Emma took a slow step forward. While you were busy sneaking into hotel rooms, I was busy doing paperwork. Lily's eyes widened. Paperwork. Emma looked right at her. Yes. The kind that protects me from people like you. She turned slightly, addressing the crowd as if giving a presentation. You see, our prenup has a clause. Infidelity means immediate forfeiture of shared assets. Blake's face went from pale to sickly red. The guests whispered. Loudly. Emma continued, her voice still soft. And because Blake was too busy to handle finances, I handled everything for months. Blake stepped back, shaking his head. What did you do? I moved all our liquid assets into my personal trust, Emma said. Legally. Quietly. Completely. Blake stumbled. You can't, Emma, that's everything. That's our savings, our investments. Not our, Emma corrected. Mine now. Lily covered her mouth. Oh my God. Emma turned her cold eyes on Lily. Don't worry, Lily. You weren't left out. Lily swallowed. What do you mean? Emma walked toward her slowly, like a lion approaching a trapped fox. I also filed a legal motion this morning. The one that officially transfers the house into my name. Blake's knees almost buckled. You transferred the house. Without telling me. Emma smiled again. Why would I tell a cheater anything? Blake ran a hand through his hair, panic finally overtaking arrogance. This is insane. This is revenge. Emma nodded. Yes. But you haven't seen the real part yet. Every guest leaned in. Some held their breath. Blake whispered. Emma, what else did you do? Emma lifted her glass, her calm eyes bright under the backyard lights. I bought you a gift, she said softly, so you could see how cheap your loyalty truly is. But she wasn't done. Not even close. Because the explosive twist, the one that would destroy both Blake and Lily, was still waiting. And Emma was about to pull the final trigger. The backyard had gone completely silent. Even the night breeze seemed to hold its breath. Emma stood in the center, steady and calm, holding her champagne glass like a judge holding the final verdict. Blake looked at her as if seeing her for the first time. A woman who had loved him, trusted him, protected him, and now held the power to end everything he ever built. Lily hovered behind him, shaking, eyes darting from face to face as if searching for someone, anyone, who might save her. But no one stepped forward. Emma had become untouchable. She lowered the glass slowly before speaking again, her voice soft but carrying through the whole yard. You saw the video, she said. But what you didn't see was the full story. Blake's breath hitched. Emma, please stop. But Emma didn't stop. She had held her silence for too long. Tonight the truth would speak. She walked over to the small table near the projector where a beautifully wrapped box sat alone. Silver paper, a white ribbon, and a tag that read, for Blake and Lily. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Emma picked up the box with delicate fingers, turning it slowly as if it were harmless. This, she said, was the gift I gave them. Lily's voice cracked. Emma, please, don't do this. Emma's eyes flicked toward her. You weren't worried when you opened it in that hotel room. Lily's cheeks drained of color. Emma continued walking, stepping into a circle of light beneath the projector. She placed the gift box on the ground and tapped the lid lightly, like knocking on a coffin. This little box, she said, held everything I needed to see. Blake's voice shook. Emma, I swear, it wasn't what you think. Emma raised a hand. The same hand that had once worn a wedding ring for him. The same hand that had once held Lily's while calling her sister. Now it silenced them both. Let me explain something to you, Blake, she said quietly. Lily is manipulative. You are selfish. And the two of you believed I was blind. But I wasn't blind. I was patient. She bent down, opened the box, and pulled out the tiny motion-activated camera, the size of a button, almost invisible. The crowd leaned forward, whispering. Emma held it up. This is the gift. The camera that recorded your hotel visit. Blake stumbled backward. Oh my God. Lily looked like her knees might give out. But Emma wasn't done. She pressed a button on the remote in her other hand. Another video file appeared on the projector. Blake panicked. Emma, no. But it was too late. The screen lit up with a second clip, time-stamped 2 hours later than the first. The camera had captured something else, something neither Blake nor Lily knew was recorded. Inside the hotel room, the angle caught part of the bedroom, just enough to show shadows moving, just enough to hear voices. Lily's voice came first. Blake, if she finds out, she'll take everything from you. Blake's voice followed, tired and annoyed. I know. But she's too emotional. She won't do anything. Lily laughed softly. Emma? Emotional? Please. She's weak. She still trusts me. A chilling silence spread across the backyard. Emma stood perfectly still. The video continued. Lily whispered, just a few more months. Once she's out of the picture, we can figure everything out. Blake murmured, she won't leave. She'll cry, but she won't leave. Lily giggled. Then we'll give her a reason to. The room erupted in quiet gasps. One woman whispered, oh my God, they plan to push her out. A man muttered, disgusting. Blake grabbed his head with both hands. Emma, I didn't mean, this is taken out of context. Please. Emma finally turned to him, eyes cold but shining with something fierce. You didn't just cheat on me. You plotted against me. In my home. With my best friend. Lily lunged forward, desperate. Emma, listen. Blake forced me to say those things. I didn't mean it, he. Emma stared at her. You told him I was weak. Lily froze, trembling. Emma stepped closer, her voice so quiet it felt like a whisper slicing through bone. Tell me, Lily, do I look weak right now? Lily's lips parted, but no words came. Emma didn't need an answer. She turned back to the guests, lifting the microphone one last time. 4 years, I trusted these two people with my heart. But trust isn't a gift, it's a weapon. And today, I chose to take mine back. Blake reached out desperately. Emma, please, we can fix this. Don't ruin us like this. Emma looked at him with a strange mix of pity and power. Blake, you ruined yourself. Then she took a breath, and delivered the sentence Blake would never forget. I bought you a gift, she said softly, so you could see how cheap your loyalty truly is. People gasped. Some applauded. Some whispered in awe. But Blake wasn't thinking about the camera anymore. Because Emma wasn't finished. She had one more twist. One more truth. One more strike. And this next one. It wouldn't just destroy Blake and Lily's reputation. It would destroy their entire future. For a long, heavy moment, nobody moved. The video had ended, but its echoes clung to the air like smoke. The backyard, once bright with celebration, now felt like a courtroom. The guests stared at Blake and Lily as if seeing their true faces for the first time. There was no escaping the exposure. No darkness to hide in. No lie smooth enough to save them. Blake stepped forward, shaking, his voice cracking at the edges. Emma, please. Just let me explain. But Emma didn't look like a woman waiting for explanations. She looked like a woman who had been collecting her truth piece by piece, building it into a blade sharp enough to cut everything that had hurt her. Explain what? Emma asked calmly. Why you walked into that hotel. Why you said I was weak. Why you plotted to push me out of my own home. Her voice didn't rise. It didn't break. It didn't hesitate. Blake opened his mouth but no words came. Only panic. Lily clutched her purse like it could protect her. Emma, please. You know how I am. I say things I don't mean. Blake pressured me. Emma turned slowly, narrowing her eyes. You're a grown woman, Lily. Not a puppet. Every word you said was yours. Lily's mouth snapped shut. The guests whispered, a low wave of judgment rolling through the yard. Disgusting. They lied to her face. And she trusted them. Emma didn't acknowledge the whispers. She didn't need to. She still had the room under complete control. Blake tried again, desperate now. Emma, listen. You have no idea how stressful things have been. The business. The pressure. I made mistakes. We made mistakes. But we can fix this. Just don't take everything away. Emma gave him a long, quiet look. Not angry. Not emotional. Just finished. You're not losing everything because of me, she said. You're losing everything because of you. Blake swallowed hard, but before he could respond, Emma continued, still calm, still precise. And you're wrong about one more thing. I'm not here for revenge. She paused, letting that sentence twist in the air. I'm here for closure. Blake shook his head. Closure? Emma, please. But Emma raised another document from the table. A manila folder. Thick. Heavy. This, she said, is the final update. Blake froze. The guests leaned in again, listening like the next line would decide the rest of the night. Emma flipped open the folder and pulled out 3 papers, each stamped with signatures and legal codes. First, she said smoothly, the prenup clause is officially filed. The court has acknowledged your infidelity. You lose 50% of everything we shared. Blake staggered. Emma. Second, she continued, the house is already transferred to my name. You need to vacate within 10 days. Lily let out a choked gasp. 10 days. Emma didn't look at her. You don't live here, Lily. Or did you plan to? Lily went silent. And third. Emma lifted the last paper. The company lawyer has been notified of your financial misconduct. Blake's eyes widened. Financial what? Emma, I didn't. Emma tilted her head. You didn't notice when you signed those quarterly reports last month, did you? Blake's face dropped. He understood suddenly. What she meant. What she had done. I asked you to review them, Emma said softly. You signed them without reading. You trusted me. Blake's pride cracked right down the middle. Emma, what did you do? Emma stepped closer, her voice low, steady, dangerous. I documented every unapproved withdrawal you made for your hotel expenses. Every charge. Every receipt. Every lie you tried to hide. She held the papers up so he could see the audit summary. You didn't just cheat on me, she said. You cheated your own company. Gasps. A woman covered her mouth. A man muttered. He's finished. Blake's voice came out small. Emma, you're destroying my career. Emma's expression didn't soften. No, you destroyed it. I'm just done protecting you from your own choices. Lily stepped forward, tears streaking her makeup. Emma, please, you can't do this. You can't destroy both of us. Emma turned toward her, finally giving her the full weight of her cold stare. Destroy you, she repeated quietly. No, Lily. I'm not interested in your destruction. Lily blinked, confused. I'm interested, Emma said slowly, in your consequences. Lily backed up, shaking her head violently. Emma, we were best friends. No, Emma corrected. We were convenient for each other. There's a difference. Lily's lip trembled. She looked around for someone to defend her, but every person in that yard now saw her differently. As a liar. A manipulator. A snake hiding behind a friendly smile. She was alone. Finally, Blake dropped to his knees. actually dropped. In front of everyone. Emma, please, don't let this be the end. I'll change. I'll do anything. Just don't leave me like this. Emma stared at him, not with love, not with hate, but with the finality of someone who had already said goodbye. You didn't lose me tonight, she said softly. You lost me the moment you thought I wouldn't notice. The guests were frozen, waiting for the final blow. But Emma wasn't finished. Because there was one more truth, one more twist, one more devastating reveal she had saved for the perfect moment. A truth that would shatter Blake and Lily beyond repair. A truth neither of them were prepared for. The night air felt thick now, dense with shame, fear, judgment, and something else, something electric. Emma stood tall while Blake knelt at her feet, ruined, trembling, begging her not to end his life the way he ended their marriage. Lily hovered behind him, crying in sharp, panicked breaths, her mascara running down her cheeks like ink confessing her sins. All around them, the guests remained silent, standing like witnesses at an execution. No one wanted to interrupt. No one dared to speak. They were watching the kind of justice people only dreamed about. Calm, calculated, devastating. Emma exhaled slowly, refusing to look down at Blake. She had looked down enough times in their marriage, apologizing for things she never did, shrinking herself to make room for his ego, trusting him because she believed loyalty meant something. Not anymore. Stand up, she said quietly. Blake pushed himself to his feet. His hands shook so violently he had to clasp them behind his back to hide it. Emma stepped away from him, walking toward the edge of the pool where the backyard lights reflected off the water like shattered glass. She took a moment, one long moment, to breathe, then turned back to face the two people who had broken her most gently and most deeply. You're both wondering why I haven't said more, she began. Why I'm not screaming. Why I'm not crying. Why I'm not falling apart. Lily wiped her face frantically. Blake closed his eyes, bracing himself for whatever came next. Emma's voice stayed soft, dangerously soft, because falling apart means the people who hurt you still have power. That sentence hit both of them like a physical blow. Emma continued, but there's something I haven't told you yet, something I've been saving. The guests looked at one another. Even the breeze paused. You see, Emma said, this betrayal didn't break me. It revealed something I needed to see. Blake frowned, confused. Lily held her breath. Emma took a step closer. Do you remember, she said, 2 months ago, when you told me you were going on that business trip to New York? Blake tensed. Emma. Do you remember, she said again, how Lily suddenly claimed her mother was sick and she had to leave town? Lily's hands trembled. The guests murmured. Emma continued, letting her words slice the night open. You both left on the same day. And you both came back on the same day. And you both lied to me. Blake swallowed hard. Emma. We didn't. Emma didn't let him finish. I followed you. Silence. Sharp, cutting silence. Lily covered her mouth. Blake shook his head slowly in disbelief. Emma nodded once. Yes. I followed you. Not because I didn't trust you, but because I trusted myself. And my instincts told me something was wrong. The guests leaned in. Her storytelling had them hypnotized. Emma went on, her voice steady as steel. And during that trip, something happened. Something that neither of you knew I saw. Blake stepped forward. Emma, whatever you think you saw. Emma held up a hand. You met with a woman. The crowd gasped. Blake froze. Emma's eyes locked onto Lily. Both of you. Lily stepped back as if slapped. And this woman, Emma continued, was not just anyone. She let the tension stretch, pull, tighten. Blake whispered, Emma, please. Emma finally delivered the blow. She was the private investigator I hired. Gasps. Shock. A ripple of whispered disbelief spread across the yard. Blake's jaw dropped. Lily stumbled backward. Someone in the crowd whispered, "Oh my God, she played them both." Emma didn't smile. "Not yet. I hired her because I needed proof. Not of the affair. I already knew that. But something else." Blake shook his head violently. "Emma, you don't understand. She approached us." "No," Emma said firmly. "She approached you because I sent her to." Lily collapsed onto a chair, burying her face in her hands. Blake looked shattered. "Why? Why would you do that?" Emma stepped forward, her expression unreadable. "Because I wanted to see how far you'd go. How many lies you'd tell. How deep your betrayal ran." She paused. "And you didn't disappoint." The guests were speechless. Emma had not simply caught them, she had studied them. Blake's voice cracked. "Emma, did she tell you everything?" Emma nodded. "She told me what you said about me, what you planned, what you hoped would happen once I was out of the way." Lily looked up with wet, swollen eyes. She's lying." Emma's gaze turned ice cold. "She recorded you." Lily choked on her own breath. Blake stumbled backward until he hit the edge of the table. Emma finally let a small, cruel smile appear on her lips. "And tomorrow morning," she said, "that recording goes to your company board." People gasped. Someone whispered, "He's finished." Emma continued. "And Lily." Lily shook her head violently, tears flying. "Emma, please, please." Emma's voice dropped to a chilling softness. "I sent the same recording to your boyfriend." Lily's soul left her body. Her boyfriend. The one she claimed she loved. The one she swore she'd never hurt. Emma didn't blink. "I told him the truth about you. And I told him he deserved better." Lily dropped her face into her hands and let out a sob that echoed through the backyard. Blake whispered, "Emma, please, have mercy." Emma stepped closer. "I had mercy," she said. "For years." Then she stepped back, her voice rising, not loud, but powerful. "The only mercy tonight is that I let you watch yourselves become who you really are." The yard erupted in whispers of admiration, shock, and awe. But Emma wasn't done. The backyard no longer felt like a celebration. It felt like Judgment Day. Blake stood frozen, his face pale, his suit wrinkled and damp with sweat. Lily sat collapsed in a patio chair, her mascara smeared, her chest shaking as she tried to breathe through the humiliation. Emma stood between them and the crowd, not angry, not emotional, simply steady, powerful, unshakable. She had already taken their pride. She had already taken their secrets. She had already taken their false future. But she still had one more truth to deliver. One that would break them beyond repair. Emma slowly walked back toward the center of the yard, where the spotlight from the projector still shone on the grass like a stage. Every eye followed her. Every whisper died. She turned toward Blake first. "You asked me why I did this," she said quietly. "Why I didn't confront you earlier. Why I didn't scream or break down." Blake swallowed hard, nodding desperately. "Yes. Emma, why?" She lifted her chin slightly. "Because you don't confront a storm. You prepare for it." His lips parted, but no sound came. "And because," she continued, "I waited for the perfect moment." Lily wiped her face, forcing herself to speak. "Emma, we made a mistake. But this is too far." Emma turned her eyes on her, cold, sharp, deadly calm. "No, Lily. What you did was too far. What I'm doing is balance." Lily looked away. Emma inhaled once, deeply, as if steadying herself before delivering the strike she had saved for last. "I didn't find out about the affair a month ago," she said. Blake blinked. "What?" "I didn't find out 2 months ago." Her voice softened. "I've known for 6 months." A wave of shock rippled across the guests. Blake stumbled. 6 months. "Emma, why didn't you?" Emma didn't give him time. Because 6 months ago. Her voice cracked for the first time all night. I found something else. Lily looked up, confused. What? What do you mean? Emma closed her eyes for a moment, steadying the storm inside her. Then she opened them again, clear, sharp, ready. 6 months ago, my doctor told me I was pregnant. The yard fell dead silent. A gasp escaped from somewhere in the crowd. Blake's eyes widened in disbelief. Lily covered her mouth. Emma continued, her voice trembling only slightly. I didn't tell anyone. Not even Blake. I wanted to make sure. I wanted to be ready to share it when the time was right. Blake took a shaky step forward. Emma, we were going to have a baby? Emma nodded slowly. And the day after that appointment, I caught you with Lily for the first time. Blake collapsed into a chair, burying his face in his hands. Lily stared in shock. Emma continued, pain flickering behind her calm voice. I wasn't strong enough then. I didn't want to bring a child into a home built on lies. So I made a decision. Lily whispered. Emma, please, don't say it. Emma met her gaze. I ended the pregnancy. Blake let out a sound, part sob, part gasp, part something broken beyond repair. His shoulders shook as he cried into his hands, shaking violently. Emma didn't move toward him. She didn't comfort him. She didn't even blink. She simply stated the truth. I ended it, she said softly. Because I knew I didn't want my child to grow up with a father who could cheat on his wife. And I didn't want to raise a baby with a friend who would betray me in my own home. Lily's tears poured harder, dripping down her dress. Emma. Oh God. Emma, I didn't know. Emma's voice turned cold again. And that is why I waited 6 months. Not to hurt you the way you hurt me, but to hurt you in the only place it would truly matter. She looked directly at Blake. You didn't just lose your marriage tonight. You lost the child you never cared enough to earn. Blake broke. Fully broke. He slid off the chair and onto the grass, sobbing so hard his entire chest convulsed. His arrogant mask, his pride, his power, gone. Torn apart by the truth. Emma turned next to Lily. And you, she said, didn't just lose a friend tonight. You lost the one person who would have stood next to you through anything. Lily sobbed into her hands, curling into herself in shame. Emma wasn't done. She stepped back into the spotlight, addressing them both. You didn't just cheat. You didn't just lie. You took away the one moment that was supposed to change the rest of my life. Her voice softened. Painfully. But you also freed me. She placed the microphone down gently, then lifted her champagne glass. Here's to truth, she said. Here's to freedom. And here's to finally closing the door on 2 people who never deserved me. Blake couldn't speak. Lily couldn't breathe. The guests couldn't move. Emma took one final look at the 2 people she once loved, then turned away from them forever. And as she walked back into her house, calm, upright, powerful, the guests parted for her as if she were royalty passing through. Because Emma didn't take revenge. She delivered justice. And she delivered it with silence, strategy, and a truth so devastating. Neither Blake nor Lily would recover from it for the rest of their lives. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy the story, please hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon. Comment below for more stories like this. Your support means the world to us.